Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I'm doing another What's for Dinner on WW or Weight Watchers. My husband and I are on the green plan, but I will be including points for not only the green, but also the blue and purple plans. So let me jump in here and show you what we had for dinner this week. Tonight for dinner, we are doing chicken bubble up pot pie, which is one of our favorites. Actually, we love all the bubble ups that we do. This is one of my older recipes though. So it's kind of one of my go-tos. And I'm just gonna start off with a small pan here that I've got on medium heat, and I'm gonna spritz a little olive oil in here. And then I'm gonna add to that a medium onion that I've chopped up. It's just a sweet onion. And I'm gonna cook this in here until that is softened up. And I'm gonna take my onions that I let cook probably a little longer than I needed to, actually. As you can see, they're starting to caramelize here. I'm gonna add these to a medium-sized bowl, along with about 10 ounces of cooked and chopped up skinless, boneless chicken breast. All right, and I thought I was recording, but my camera apparently decided to turn off on me. So what else I have in here is a jar of this turkey gravy, and that is 12 ounces. I just poured this in, added a little water to the jar, shook it up, and got the remainder of that gravy out of there. And then in here, I've got 12 ounces of frozen mixed veggies that I've kind of let partially thaw out. And that's just so that they get cooked or heated all the way through when they're baking in the oven. If you start out with completely frozen, they might not get all the way heated up. But this is the one that I use, just 12 ounces of frozen mixed veggies that I get at Aldi, along with the gravy I also get at Aldi. So now I'm gonna add a little seasoning to this, a little fresh ground pepper. You can use salt if you want, or add salt if you want. We typically do not. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of thyme, about a teaspoon, and some sage, about a half teaspoon of that. And then I'm gonna mix this all together real well. Now to that, I'm gonna add 2/3 cup fat-free Greek plain yogurt. Now, I always forget to say, but if you don't like Greek yogurt, and I have had a lot of people tell me that they don't like Greek yogurt, don't like using it. I love it, that's why I'm always using it. But if you don't like Greek yogurt, you can absolutely sub out with a fat-free sour cream. And that is typically the case with pretty much any recipe, at least with the ones that I do. Anytime you see the Greek yogurt, you can definitely just sub it out with fat-free sour cream. So I'm gonna add 2/3 cup of that to this. And then lastly, I'm gonna add 7.5 ounces of biscuits that I've chopped up. And I've chopped these biscuits up in a little smaller pieces than I typically do with my bubble ups. And that's just because they're getting added to this mixture, which is not hot. It's pretty much cold. And so they're not going to start to heat up and start to kind of break down like they would in a lot of the other bubble ups that I do, where I'm adding them into a hot skillet. So I like to make them a little bit smaller just to make sure that while they're cooking in the oven, they get cooked all the way through. Because when I used to make them a little bigger, like cut each biscuit into 6, like I typically do with my bubble ups, I was finding that the biscuits weren't getting all the way cooked. So since then, I've started making them a lot smaller, and that seems to work a whole lot better. So I'm just mixing all this together now, and then I will show you what's next. I've got that all mixed together. Now I've got a 13 by 9 inch pan here, and I'm gonna just spray it with a little cooking spray so this doesn't stick. And then I'm gonna just pour this into my pan. And then smooth it in here evenly. Okay, now that is ready to go in the oven at 350 for about 35 minutes. This baked for about 35 minutes, so now I'm gonna take a cup of a low-fat cheese, sprinkle that on the top of this as evenly as I can. And I always usually use the Kroger brand. Okay, now that's gonna go back in the oven for another 10-15 minutes until that cheese is nice and melted. And here it is, 15 minutes later. I'm gonna let that cool a little bit and then I will cut out a serving. And here is a serving of that, which is a 1/6 of the casserole. On green, it is 10, and on blue and purple, it is just 7 points. Now this would probably go good with a side salad or something like that, but we're just having it all by itself tonight for a 10-point dinner. Tonight for dinner, we are gonna have some of this cauliflower crust cheese pizza. This is one of those nights where I don't feel like cooking, and so I'm gonna just throw one of these in the oven. And these are really good. We get these at Sam's Club, and they're fairly Weight Watcher friendly. For a quarter of one of these pizzas, it is 10 points, I believe. So not the worst for something that is, you know, frozen pizza. Real quick dinner idea. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in the oven and then I will show you what it looks like when it's done. And just so you can see what they look like, there's 2 of them in here. I don't think I said that. And we're gonna go ahead and just cook both of them up because we'll probably have them for dinner tomorrow again, or lunch or something like that. But yeah, there's 2 in here and this is what they look like. Okay, and there they are done. I am gonna let them cool just a couple minutes and then I'm gonna cut them up. And I'll show you what else we're having with them for dinner. Okay, and here is dinner. That is a quarter of one of those pizzas, and like I said, that is 10 points on all 3 colors. And then with it, we're just having a little side salad. Gonna probably use some of this zesty Italian fat-free dressing. Now this is 0 points if you just use a tablespoon, so that's all we're gonna use. So 0 points for the salad, 10 points for the pizza makes this a 10-point dinner for tonight. And if you guys haven't tried this pizza, it is very good. My son, who's sort of a picky eater, absolutely loves this, and he's always trying to get us to buy it whenever we go to Sam's. So yeah, definitely recommend the pizza. It is very, very good. Tonight I'm gonna be doing cheesy chicken and broccoli quinoa. Now I have a recipe video up on this, but it is not labeled as a Weight Watcher friendly one, and that's because it's not necessarily Weight Watcher friendly. I've made a couple changes to my own recipe though to make it more Weight Watcher friendly, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So I'm going to start off with a large pan here, got it on medium heat, and I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of Brummel and Brown, which is just a light butter, yogurt spread butter or margarine, and I'm going to get that heating in there until it's melted. Now that that's melted, I'm going to add in a couple tablespoons of flour, and I'm going to just whisk this in here and let this kind of cook for a minute or so. And now I'm going to add in 2 cups of fat-free milk. I'm going to just whisk this pretty much continuously until this starts to thicken up. This has thickened up nicely, so now I'm going to add in this 16-ounce bag of frozen broccoli that I've just steamed in the microwave. And then here I've got some quinoa that I cooked up, and this was a cup of dry that I used. So I just did this in my rice cooker. It's really easy that way. So I'm going to add that in there too. And I'm going to just mix both of those in real well. Okay, so now I'm going to add in a 1/3 cup of fat-free plain Greek yogurt and a cup of low-fat cheese. I'm just using this stuff right here. And then I'm going to mix the 2 of these in. I'm going to add a little pepper to this. You can add salt too if you want. And I'm going to add in about 8 ounces of chicken breast that I've cooked and chopped up. All right, got a casserole dish here that I'm going to spray with a little bit of cooking spray. And then I'm going to pour this in there. And I'm gonna top this with another half cup of cheese. And then I'm gonna bake this at 350 for about 20-25 minutes. And here's what it looks like when it is done. I'll let this cool a little bit and then cut out a serving. And here is a serving of that, which is 1/6 of the total. And on green, it is 9 points a serving. I'll have to double check and see what it is on blue and purple and put those on the screen and down below, of course. But yeah, it is 9 on the green. I'll have my hubby try this on camera because I don't think he has before in the previous times I've made this, but I can let you know what he thinks of it.
The cheese smells good.
Mm-hmm. Still a little hot, probably.
Yes, that's really good. The first thing that I taste, I think it must be the quinoa. See,
yeah.
It's kind of, you know, the flavor of the grain or whatever. And then it's the chicken and the broccoli and the cheese all mixed together real nice. So it's a real savory dish. You know, I would say it's hearty. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like winter meal, weather like it is today where it's just kind of gloomy.
Yeah.
This really appeals to me as far as that kind of thing goes too. So.
And we really like quinoa too. I know
Yeah.
some people don't. So I guess if you don't like quinoa, this would not be the one for
It
you.
really tastes like a quinoa dish.
Yeah, you definitely can taste the quinoa in there. But, okay. All right. And that's what we had for dinner on WW this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe it gave you some ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.